Caleb, obviously this is probably not a major concern yet because it's been 2 games, but you guys have conceded goals late in the last 2 games. What are you guys doing to maybe learn from that and avoid turning this into a potential trend?
Yeah, that's a big takeaway. The last 2 games, you know, it's 2 games now. So, you know, 1 game's not a trend, 2 games a trend, and we conceded 2 goals right around the same time. You know, 84th, 85th minute, in games where we should have seen it out and gotten the point on the road, and obviously 3 points this last game. So it's something we have to address, we have to correct. It happens a lot in soccer, so it's not like it's a unique trend. Certainly late in games when teams are pushing, teams find goals, you know, and teams concede goals. But for me, my analysis of why it's happening is, you know, 2 things. We have to be stronger mentally, you know, and seeing the game out, making those little plays that you always have to make in a soccer game, because when the score is 1 goal difference, teams will get chances, and they'll dump balls and dump crosses in this sport anything can happen. So we have to mentally, emotionally be stronger, and then tactically have to keep the ball better. You know, when I looked at that period, the 15-minute period where we conceded, there was a strange dip in terms of our possession. So we have to put our foot on the ball and manage the end of a game. And you do that with possession, you do that with making those final plays that you have to make, clearing your lines, clearing your box to see the game out. But for sure, we've dropped 3 points in the last 2 games by not seeing the game out, and it's something we're going to have to do in future games. Because you know, you hope to be 2 goals up. If we score the goal, then you know the game's probably over. But there are going to be a lot of games where we're not 2 goals up, and you know, in this game, when you're up 1 goal, you have to manage the end of the game better. So, like I said, part emotional, mental, and part tactical. We talked about today, and certainly we'll look to do better in the next game.
On the flip side, you guys have scored within the first 15 minutes in every game so far this season. What is it in your approach that's maybe helping you guys get on top of teams early, and is that what can you do to continue that throughout the season?
Yeah, that's a positive trend. Thanks for pointing that out. Usually, you know, it's easy to point out the negative ones. There's a ton of positive trends. You know, I mean, obviously, the positives far outweigh the negatives. But you correctly pointed out the takeaway. You know, that we have to do better in the last 2 games. But really positive for me overall on how we're starting games, and that's very important in a soccer game. Again, if you can get the first goal, you drastically increase your chances of getting a result in the match. It also shows you have the right mentality. It shows you're playing aggressive. You know, and that's the way we want to play. So that's really positive. We've also been a team that's usually pretty good at the end of games, and we have been in a couple games. You know, we've scored some late goals already, but clearly in the last 2 games, we've not found that next goal, and we've not closed the game out. LA, obviously, we were able to do that. Even though we didn't find the next goal, we were able to see the game out. You know, maybe a bit fortunate too, right? Because Jake makes a save. You know, if we clear our lines on that last play, no one ever remembers the play, and so it's a bit unlucky too. You know, but for me, you have to look at again 2 games and make sure that's corrected. So I'm still looking for the 90-minute complete performance. I haven't seen it yet. A lot of really positive passages of play, periods of play, but we haven't put together 90 minutes yet. I wouldn't expect it to come yet because obviously it's early in the year, and you know, we're still getting that continuity in the team. We've made changes in the lineup as well, and we shouldn't be peaking right now. But we have to move closer and closer to putting a 90-minute performance together. Certainly when you look at the bookends of a soccer game, you got to start strong and you got to end strong to get a result. And we'll look to do that in future games.
Caleb, can you talk a bit more about Marco when he made the team of the week? And when you go back and look at the tape, how well does he play? What did you see that you liked and maybe that needs some work?
Yeah, I think what I like about him is his mentality. I'll start with that, because when you look at an 18-year-old kid, and hopefully we're not talking about the age, for too much longer, because that shows he's really kind of cemented a position, and shows he's settled and arrived, and then he can go about his business of being a pro. But when you're 18 years old, it's unique. There's not many teenagers that are starting in games, and we're proud of that. I know he's excited about it, proud of it. But mentally, for him to be able to go into a pressure game with a big crowd, away and home now, and show a similar composure, I think is a huge positive. You can't teach that. That's usually in your, the fabric of your personality. I've found you either have that or you don't. Some kids never get it. Some kids never get over that, that pressure, that anxiety of going into a game and being able to just play in it. It's not easy, but that's a big part of being a professional player, is what's between the ears. And for him to show that in his first 2 games, home and away, is a really positive sign. With his personality as well, I like the fact that he's extremely coachable, and he's wanting to improve all the time. It seems like a really simple thing, but in the kids that I've coached, if they have that, they're the ones that end up making it even more, because they get better. They're very reflective. He's analytical. He doesn't need me to tell him if he did this right or wrong, or this needs to be better. He's already analyzed it. And again, you can't teach that. Some kids, you have to convince them they had a good game, or convince them they didn't have a good game. They don't reflect on the game. They don't know when it's good or not good. They need reassurance. So I found that's a really important personality trait, mentality trait in the kids that I've coached. So that aside, I thought he was good on the ball. That helps, because he keeps the ball. When you keep the ball, you gain confidence. Your teammates gain confidence in you. He definitely can get better in his crossing. He missed some crosses. We talked about that. He did some extra work. He asked for extra work today on that. We didn't tell him to do it. He actually asked for it. So that's great sign. Defensively, he's there's a lot of things that happen in a back four. And so those little nuances, all those little decisions of when to cover, slide, step, drop, how to shape a guy, there's a million different things that go into a defender in that position. So he'll still learn those things, but I thought, again, against a very kind of tricky team in New England with how they play, he managed the game really well, because you've got the wingers playing really narrow, so now he has to make decisions of when does he come inside and stay narrow, and then you have the outside backs kind of bombing on, so when does he release to them? So it wasn't an easy game for an outside back to be in, and the fact that he managed that well, I thought was a really, really good sign. But he's gonna make mistakes, just like everybody does. The best players, the senior players, make mistakes. Sometimes when a young player makes a mistake, people overanalyze it. I think it's natural, but he's going to make mistakes, just like everybody does. But as time goes on, the more he plays, the more he settles in, the more he makes the right decisions. Hopefully, the mistakes he makes are less and less, and hopefully the mistakes he makes are not critical mistakes.